After years of preaching, a Colorado pastor took a huge spiritual risk, breaking from the Christian Reformed Church and opening up his congregation to gays and lesbians. Like any evangelical Christian church service, there's song, prayer, and obviously a sermon. But the thing that sets this church apart from all the rest is that at Highlands Church, gays and lesbians are all treated as equals.
My view has changed on this over the last 26 years. It's not the fabric from which I was cut or the way that I was trained. Hearing the life and the story from somebody who is gay or lesbian made me reconsider how I was understanding certain verses.
Now, Reverend Mark Tidd joins us now live from Denver this morning. So, Reverend, you once shared the church's view on homosexuality. Why the change of heart?
Well, the change of heart came when I had to help a family whose young child was transgendered. Their child had known since the time she was 3 that she was a boy, and at age 7, the parents decided their only option was to believe her and start calling him by a boy's name and refer to he, him, and his. And then the family met with me, obviously distressed because they were facing a very uncertain future. But these were very courageous parents, and they wanted to know, would I be there to support them, or would I pull the rug out from underneath them? Would our theological beliefs that we're not accepting ultimately cause an environment where the child could not grow and have a healthy spiritual life? And you know, that's a very tender thing, because my wife and I have 5 children and 3 grandkids, and the thought that I could be contributing to an environment where anyone might grow up and not know that they are wildly loved by God and accepted for who they are, it's just heartbreaking. And as I'm looking at this family and thinking, I don't think there's anything wrong with their transgendered child or with the homosexual, the bisexuals, the gays and lesbians in my church. There was something wrong with my understanding of Scripture, and that's what compelled me to start changing my views.
Well, and you also, you lost your ordination in the Christian Reformed Church for embracing gays. Why do you think this is so worth it? Obviously, you were very touched by this personal story, but I'm curious, you know, when I guess you could say the traditional members of the church come to you and say, you know, why is this worth it? Why are you doing this? There's more to the argument, right? That this is archaic thinking, and look, you can't take things from the Bible from so many years past and apply it to a world right now that is so different and has changed and has grown and is progressive.
Right. Well, there are so many things in Scripture that we don't cut them out of the Bible, but with more light and understanding and an awareness that we live in a vastly different culture, we find that we have to change our understanding about it, or we just relinquish the Bible to obscurity and to nonsense. And because many people, like myself, have a high view of Scripture and take it in high regard, it's hard to let go of things until we realize our current view is actually contrary to the larger message of Scripture, and we need to be flexible and realize that our understanding is often wrong, and when our wrong thinking has serious consequences for the lives of people, then it's not incumbent on people to, in this case, to change something they can't change. It's incumbent on us to change our way of understanding them.
And I want to point out, too, your church has grown and continues to grow. Let's listen to what some of the members in your congregation have to say about your concept.
I've been in churches for years where I was Joe, the gay guy. And here I am Joe, the follower of Christ.
Do we ever worry, like, oh God, am I wrong about this? And, you know, am I going to get to heaven and God's going to be like, no, you weren't supposed to let the gays serve communion? You know, like, I don't think so. It doesn't jive with the Jesus that we learn about from the Bible.
And it's a pretty amazing message. Like I pointed out, that your church is growing leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it's really been exciting. Exactly a year ago, there were 80 of us, and this last Sunday there were over 300, and And we live right next to the mountains, so on any Sunday, if everybody came, there'd be a lot more than that, but we're always tempted to just go a half hour into the mountains. So anyways, it's been a really wonderfully fruitful time.
Well, Reverend Mark Tidd, it's pretty amazing what you have done and continue to do. And it's obvious when you hear from members of your church what a positive impact this is making on so many people's lives in a time where so many of our young kids are taking their own lives because no one's accepting them for being gay. Thanks so much for your time, Reverend.
Right. Well, thank you so much.
You bet. And this Saturday, Highlands Church is having their second annual symposium entitled The Evangelical Church and Homosexuality. Christian singer Jennifer Knapp, who recently came out as being gay, will be one of the keynote speakers. Well, there's